back to my channel. So today we are going to be making this crochet shirt bag. It is really cute and very easy to make. So without wasting much of your time, let's get right into the video. So for this project, I'm going to be working with the Yeye extra because I couldn't get a t-shirt yarn. So yeah, so I'm using the Yeye yarn and I'm doubling it to get a very thick textured yarn. Okay, we are going to start off by making a slip knot as usual, and then we are going to go ahead to make our foundation chains. So for the bag size that I'm working with, I'm going to make 30 chains. If you want your bag to be bigger, you can make more chains, and if you want it smaller, you just need to reduce the chains. So after making 30 chains, you're going to chain one and then start working into the chain stitch. So we are going to be working with single crochet all through this project. So into the first chain on my 30 chains, I'm going in with a single crochet, and I'm going to work a single crochet all through the 30 stitch till I get to the end of the first row. So I'm done with the first row of single crochet, as you can see, and so for the next row, which is row 2, I'm going to chain one, turn my work and work single crochet into every single crochet stitch from row 1. So you're going to continue with your single crochet stitch for every row until you get to your desired bag size. So for the size that I'm working with, I'll be making a total of 20 single crochet rows. So I'm going to do that off the camera and I'll be back to show you guys what next. Okay. I'm done with my 20 rows of single crochet, and next we are going to be working on the top of our bag, which is the V-shaped part of the bag. So for this part, we are going to share the work into 2 equal halves. Remember, I started with 30 stitches, so I'm going to have 15 on both sides. So you want to count from the very last stitch until you get to the 15th stitch, and then you're going to place a stitch marker. So we are going to continue our work with our single crochet stitch. So you're going to place single crochet on every stitch until you get to the 15th stitch where we placed our stitch marker. So I'm at the last stitch, which is the 15th stitch. So I'm going to place a single crochet there, and then I'm going to take out the stitch marker and put it in the next stitch, which is also the 15th stitch of the other half. So now this is what you should have. So for the next row, we are going to make a decrease. So you want to chain one, turn your work. We are going to skip the first stitch and go right into the second stitch. Okay, and then we are going to keep on working single crochets until we get to the last 2 stitch on that row. Now I have my last 2 stitch on the row, and we are also going to make a decrease at the end of the row. So we are going to single crochet both stitch together. So for the next row, we are going to continue decreasing. So for each row, we are going to skip the first stitch and go into the next stitch, and then single crochet the last 2 stitches together. So we are going to continue this decrease pattern until we have 2 or 3 single crochets left. After 8 rows of decrease, I finally have 2 single crochet stitch left, and that is going to be the end of this half, and then we are going to go over to the other side and work on the other half. So I'm going to chain one, and then I'm going to leave a very long yarn because we'll be back to work on this other side of our project. So for the other half, I'm going to attach my yarn at the 15th stitch, and then I'm going to work single crochets into every stitch until I get to the end of the row. And then for the next row, we're going to start making our decrease as usual, and then we're going to continue making our decrease up until we have 2 single crochet stitches, just like the other half. So now I'm done with the other half, and I'm going to chain one and cut my yarn because we do not need the excess yarn on this other side of our project. Now back to the other side where we left our yarn, we are going to be working single crochets into every row. So starting with the very first row, we are going to place a single crochet there, and then we are going to work single crochets into every row across until we get to the other side of our project. So while placing our single crochets into every row, we are going to be placing 2 single crochets into the row where we started our decrease, and then we are going to continue with our single crochets, 1 single crochet across every row. So at this corner of our project, we are going to be placing 2 single crochets, and we are going to be doing this on both sides, and then we are going to continue working single crochets until we get to the decrease row on the other side, where we are going to be placing 2 single crochets, and then continue with our single crochets until we get to the end of the rows. Just take your time and watch the video. Even without me explaining, the video is very clear and easy to follow. So you just need to be patient, watch it carefully, and you'll be able to make your own crochet shirt bag. So I'm done with my single crochets, and that is going to be the end of this part of our project. So next we are going to be making our collar for the shirt. So I'm going to be attaching my yarn at the very first row where we started our decrease, and then we are going to make single crochets across until we get to the top. Now I have a total of 8 single crochets. Remember we did 8 rows of decrease, so I have 8 single crochets, and I'm going to go in with 1 more single crochet on that very last stitch, and then we are going to be making a chain of 24, and then continue working single crochets on the other side of our project. Okay, so now I'm done with my first row of single crochets, and we have a total of 9 single crochets on both sides and 24 chains. So for the second row, I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and into the very first stitch I'm going to make 2 single crochets and then continue with 1 single crochets across until we get to the end of row 2. Okay, so I'm done with row 2. We are going to also end row 2 with 2 single crochets on the very last stitch. And then for row 3, we are going to be working single crochets into every single crochet stitch from row 2. So 1 single crochet into every stitch. And then we are going to continue that until we get to the 6th row. I'm done with my 6 rows of single crochets, and now I have a total of 44 stitch, 10 on each side and 24 on the part where we made our chain. So for the next row, which is the 7th row, we are going to be working single crochets into 10 stitch, and then we are going to make slip stitch into the next 24 stitch and then continue single crochets into the last 10 stitch. I'm done with row 7 and this is what the bag looks like. So I'm going to chain 1 and cut off my yarn. Next, we are going to be working on the part where we are going to place our buttons. So for this part, I made 18 chains. You can make yours longer or shorter depending on the bag size you are working with. So we are also going to be working with single crochets, and I'm going to be making 2 rows of 18 single crochets. Now for the pocket, I did 8 single crochets and I made 8 rows, and then I finish up with single crochets round the entire work. So I'm going to be attaching this to the bag using an invisible thread. If you do not have an invisible thread, you can as well use your yarn. And now this is what we have. Our bag is almost ready. I'm done attaching the pocket and the button parts to the bag. So we are going to be making 2 of these. This is the first panel and I'm going to make another panel. So now we are going to be joining both sides together, but first we are going to be making a rectangle shaped panel for the sides. It's going to be a very long rectangle shaped panel. So for this I made 5 single crochets and a total of 74 rows. So your rows depends on the bag size you are working with. If you are working with this exact bag size, then go ahead and make 74 rows of single crochet. And if you have watched this video to this point, I want to say thank you for your support. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and also drop a comment. And don't forget to share this with your friends that love to crochet. Also, if you have any question, kindly drop them in the comment. And if there is any crochet pattern or bead pattern you would like me to work on next, please let me know in the comment. I would really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm done with my 74 rows of single crochet, and then I finished up with single crochets around my entire work. So next we are gonna be joining our bag front and back panels together. To join the panels, I'm going to start my stitch from the very row where we started our decrease. So I'm going to start joining from there and I'm going to walk through all the way to the other side of the row where we started our decrease, and that's it for the first panel. You're going to be doing the exact same thing for both panels. So you're going to start at the row of the decrease, walk through to the other side of the decrease row, and then you're going to do the same thing for the other panel. I'm done joining both sides, and this is what our bag looks like. As you can see, it's looking really cute, and our bag is almost done. We just need to add some finishing touches to it, and that will be all. So I went ahead and added my buttons and then my handmade tags. I only did this to one part of the bag because I wanted that to serve as the front, but if you want to do that to both sides, you're free to do that. Okay, so this is what my bag looks like, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share to your loved ones, and everybody that you know would love to crochet something like this.